Hey guys, welcome back. Here we are in very hot and sunny Portugal. So it's beautiful here, but we're not here to see any of that. We're here to review my rent-a-car, which is a Ford Focus ST line EcoBoost hybrid. So let's see what all that means and what do I think of the Ford Focus. The EcoBoost engine that's in this car is a 1 litre 3-cylinder engine. Well, straight off the bat, I love the colour and I love the shape. The alloys, didn't like it at the start, but they've actually grown on me. They match the colour so well. And if I was in Ireland, this is probably a car I would actually drive quite happily. So let's have a look at, review the Ford Focus. And how does it change from the older models? So on the older models, the Ford badge will be up here on the bonnet. That's how you know it's the newer model. It's down here on the front grille. We've been calling the car for the last week the BAM, B-A-M, so it's the only link to the TT that I can make from the Ford Focus, but still a very nice car. The headlights are LED dynamic headlights, so as you meet cars and stuff, they are kind of all the time like flickering on and off. At the very start I thought there was a problem with the bulbs until I figured it out. Yeah, like the front grille does look pretty impressive and pretty mean. It has all these little vents, but they don't really do much. They're just there for looks. All plastic. Wheels and brakes, we have red calipers, so you know that's 5 extra horsepower. And nice looking wheels and alloys on them. Love the paint code. The paint code is well, I don't even know what the paint code is, but it's gunmetal grey with a metallic fleck in it. It's lovely. So when this is one thing that obviously the TT doesn't have that I do like, is the car is locked and you come up to it. As long as the keys are in your pocket just here, you can always open the door. Oops. And we go in. So flat bottom steering wheel. So yeah, obviously left hand drive because we are here in Portugal. So as you get in on the dash, Focus illuminates, Ford is there, and it's push button start. So to start it, you put your foot in the clutch, hold your finger on it and start it once you make sure that's in neutral. So this comes up straight away, so the buttons down here, you can press them and you can select, do you want normal driving, eco driving, or sport? And as far as I can figure out, the difference is, so really eco is just if I can turn the engine off all the time, like as soon as you come to a traffic light, that'll do it. Or if there is chance of more regen braking, it'll do it. Normal is a mix of the kind of sport and eco together, and sport is if you get the batteries, let's just go for it. And that's a lot more fun to drive. That's to conserve diesel or petrol, and that's just boring mode. So yeah, I've been driving it in different modes just to see what it's actually like. Normal is what we were always dragging in until I figured out what this button down here did. Now just driving eco mode, you get that goes green, and I think the dash here goes green, and then when you go to sport mode, that goes red, and all the gauges here also go red. So I think we go back to green. So when you're driving and you are slowing down, this little symbol over here will go to battery, and as you accelerate, it'll go over here to turbo. I don't know how big the batteries are in this car in normal mode. When we are driving on the motorway and we go to really accelerate quickly to pass out a car or like something slow, I think I've actually depleted the batteries. Like, there's probably not a huge capacity in the batteries, so you're all the time charging them up just when you're just tapping the brakes or just slowing down gently, just regen braking. But as soon as you absolutely floor it to make it go, you accelerate quite quickly, and then it feels like literally something's holding you back. So maybe the boost or the EcoBoost had literally just run out of juice. You just have to brake again or regen the batteries. So overall, quite happy with the car. It's a manual 6-speed, so not that much different than driving the TT at home. So there's a little button underneath, so you lift that up, you can get back into reverse. When you go into reverse, the camera lights up, so that's very handy, helps a bit. When you reverse and you turn the steering wheel, these lines here will actually bend as well, and just to show you your course of where you're going to go. So we get out of this mode by pressing home up here. Loading maps. This was actually quite handy. So I use an Apple phone, so Apple CarPlay is on this, and we just join the cable into the back of the phone. And on my girlfriend's phone, she has Android, so we're using Android Assist or whatever that their version of Apple CarPlay is. Because her phone's a brand new phone, maybe the Apple phone, because I'm using quite an old one, or else her phone's just better. But when we set in a navigation, you could either use Bluetooth or the cable, but it would also come up here on the dash. When we were coming up to the next bend or the next turn, it would actually tell you here, go on the roundabout, you know, show you the third exit, and there'd be a little bar underneath, and the bar would get closer and closer together to show like how far away you were in meters. I'm very happy with all of this. The only thing I really dislike is having buttons for the aircon. I would have much preferred having solid buttons down here, because often I'm driving and you just can't find the buttons. Yeah, they're fairly basic. You have to run up, you run down, you can turn the fan all the way up or all the way down. Turn that off so you can hear me. Yeah, you can select you want face or feet, and AC on or off. And then you can choose whether the passenger or the driver. You can change the temperatures around for a bit. It's okay. Still would have preferred actual buttons, but that's just me. So, just that. Performance. It's a 1 litre engine as far as I can figure out, because I was talking to someone in Portuguese and they didn't really understand the capacity of the engine. They were like, it's a rented car, just enjoy it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 1 litre car. It's probably 100 horsepower, 140 horsepower, or else it's 100 horsepower boosting to 140. I'm not really quite sure. What's it like to drive? Drives absolutely normal on the motorway, drives absolutely normal around the streets, town, everything. But if you give it the absolute beans in normal mode to go anywhere, it just dies. It's just a bit like gutless. Like, I know I'm probably, if you're coming from any other car, you'd say it's grand, but coming from the TT, just with the extra horsepower, yeah, you kind of miss the extra horsepower. You do notice that you don't have it in this Ford Focus. But in saying that, I would quite happily buy this car in Ireland and drive it as my everyday car, because it was actually a very, very nice car. One thing Teresa did point out is she loves the seats. These big bolster seats, like she said, she doesn't know anything about cars, she doesn't really care for cars, but she absolutely loved the seats. She said they're really comfortable seats, and they are. I have been very impressed with them. Even a little bit of red stitching on them, like there's red stitching here, I think there's red stitching on the steering wheel as well. So yes, finally in the back seat of the car, first time ever, honest. And look, there is loads of footroom. So I'm really happy with that. If you are sitting in the back here, quite easily you'd go on a long trip and 4 people could sit in here. As long as the front people don't have super long legs, it's actually very comfortable. I would have no problem sitting back here for a long car journey. So thumbs up to Ford, well done. A lot more room than the TT has. So coming down, let's see what goodies we have. So behind here, we can change them to different positions. I think you push them down, pull them back, pull them down, push them forward, back, so you can change it for your drinks, or you can put a mobile phone sitting in there. We just never really bothered using them. You normally just leave her phone sitting there with the cable either attached way off in there. You can see the cables, or else you do it through Bluetooth. I prefer not using Bluetooth, just having an actual cable, because then you know guaranteed it'll work. Handbrake. I have a love-hate relationship with this handbrake. I just want a real one, but yeah, it works grand. Like, you just push it down, we'll release the handbrake, pull it up, we'll lock the handbrake. And even when you're on a hill, I was looking for it, but yeah, you just lock on the handbrake, put in gear, take off, and the car will automatically turn off the handbrake, so you're not like dragging the wheels with you. Yeah, you have some of the more buttons, and repeat it here, and then pretty much everything is on the big screen. So yeah, overall, we didn't really use an awful lot of the features or anything like that. It was mostly just turn on the aircon, because it is, what temperature is that? That's 26 degrees at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it's only going to get hotter. I think it's going to get 28 or 29 today, and we're off to, it might even hit 30. So yeah, like overall, that's not carbon fiber. That's definitely plastic with carbon fiber veneer on it. Overall, the car is absolutely gorgeous. Would happily drive this car. So one nice feature, when you have the keys in your hand, you can unlock the car. And the wing mirrors tracked in. And when you come up to your boot, when you have the shopping all done, you don't even have to get the keys, you just leave the keys in your pocket. But obviously I have them in my hand. Just reach underneath. The boot will always open once you have the keys in your hand. But obviously if you walk away and it's locked, you're not going to be able to open it. So one really handy feature is if you take your key, you press unlock, you see the wing mirrors will open out. Then you hold it again, hold your finger on it, all the windows drop down. So that's really handy when it's super hot out and you don't want to get into the car just yet and you're trying to like escape all the heat. So when we go to open up the door, there's a little cover that comes out. That little cover is just a bump stop, just so you don't hit your door off the next car or off a pole or anything. So when you close it, it's very clever. So that's just sticking out there. And when we close it, it'll just disappear. So we'll do a slow-mo on it. It comes out, that's it there. And when we close it, it's able to retract. And that's it there. Like, it just hides away. I wish the TT had that because that's a really handy feature. And of course we have it on the back as well. Jumps out, I can put it away. So one kind of weird feature about the Ford is when you open the cap, there's no cap here. It's open, you just push in the fuel filler straight into it. And then when you're closing it up, you do the same. And that's it. There's no lid for it. When you come around to the back, like, the car is quite nice. Like, it is a stylish car. Those are real exhaust pipes, they're not like just fake ones. It would be nice to have two either side, but is that too much for asking? And it really would be a BAM. But yeah, there is these little sensors the whole way around, and I don't really care for sensors, to be honest, but they are super handy when you're parking in Portugal. Everything is tight parking. So when you're coming in and you're turning the steering wheel both directions, it'll actually beep at you how close you are to something or how far away you are from something. So overall, let's give it a rev. Not too bad. So one feature that I really like about this car that the TT doesn't have is the auto lights. So when you're driving at night time, the lights will automatically turn on and you'll have dip beam. And then when the car reads that there's no one there and you want to drive and see more, it'll turn on the high beam, and then as another car is coming around the bend, it'll turn off the high beam and turn on the dip beams again. And the dynamic lights at the front will actually turn off lights on and off like this, and you actually think the lights are like flickering, like that there's something wrong with them, like a bad bulb, but no, it's actually trying to not blind the other drivers. And that's one feature I really love about this car. One feature I've been using quite a lot is the cruise control. So there's the button there, so we just press that, it'll light up on the screen saying that's it there. Obviously you press again, it disappears, so that's it there. And when you're driving, you can press set, which sets your speed at what you're currently doing, and if you want to go up or down through your speed, you can actually press up or down, and then it'll actually set the new speed limit of what your cruise control is set at, and it'll show it here how far across or where you are in the line of how fast you're going. And yeah, it's very nice. Obviously you press the brake, press the clutch, press the accelerator, it cancels it out, and then you can always press resume and the car will actually rev back up or speed back up, or you can press down or up and you can set it to a new speed. I'm very happy with it, and it is very easy to use. Another nice feature on this car is the lane guidance assist. So at the bottom you can just see there looks like two lines here and here. So when you're driving on the motorway, those are lit up as white, and if you go too much to the left or too much to the right, it'll actually turn those little white lines into, they're grey at the moment, but they'll turn those white lines into yellow lines as a little warning that you're going a little bit off course. So when you're driving on the motorway and you want to switch lanes, obviously you're meant to turn on your indicators, so you'll turn on the indicators left or right. That'll actually cancel it out so you can switch lanes. But if you forget to turn on your indicators, like I did a few times, it'll actually feel like there's someone actually holding the steering wheel. Now, it's not so tight that you can't overcome it. It just feels like someone else just left their hand there with like very little pressure. So it is nice to have it that, like, if you are starting to drift maybe a little bit to the left or to the right, or you're trying to do your turn up the air conditioning or something, and you're driving and it's just drifting ever so slightly, you'll just feel a little bit of a pull, and it'll tell you, hey, come on, stay in your own lane. So nice little feature. And obviously when you're on the motorway and you're passing out a truck, turn on your indicators, which kind of cancels this just for the second, so you can just turn the steering wheel. But very nice feature. So when you put the car in sport mode, it definitely comes a lot more live, a lot more enjoyable to drive, and a lot more responsive, and very close to the TT. That kind of quick acceleration and more fun and less sluggish. Definitely way more fun to drive in sport mode. So guys, that was my review of the Ford Focus ST line. What would I think of it? I give it a thumbs up. It's a very nice car, I'm very happy with it, and if I came back to Portugal, I'd literally be asking, could I drive this car again? The options that we took with the rental car company was category A or category B. We decided to go with a category B because it was just a little bit more expensive, but only by a tiny amount, and we actually ended up with a far nicer car. So category A cars is like a Fiat 500 with that kind of range of car, that kind of size, and then category B is this, so basically a Golf, Seat Ibiza, or a Ford Focus. And we are absolutely delighted with our Ford Focus. Unfortunately, our holidays is coming to an end, and we will have to return our BAM car, so our little pony has to go back to the stables. So thanks very much for watching. If you like this video of my review of my rented car, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment down below. What do you think of the Ford Focus? I absolutely love it. It's no TT, it still never will be a TT, but I still like it very much as a cruising car around Portugal. So thanks very much for watching. See you later.